Okay, so this is Mike Merlin Means of Merlin Public Media, and tonight we have another episode of our homegrown show called Arts Talk. This one is going to be fun. It's a little different. Tonight we have with us
Keri DeDeo. I'm in Kingman, Arizona.
And why are we talking to you, Keri?
I am a member of the Mohave Community Orchestra. I play viola, and I have been a member for 5 years now.
And I only found out this recently that you even existed.
You know, I hear that a lot. We get a lot of people saying that they didn't even know we existed, and that's okay. We keep trying to get the word out.
Well, and I'm glad to be able to help with some of that. I've been a classical music junkie since I was a kid, and I didn't start listening to anything else till junior year high school.
Yeah.
I'm one of those weird kids. So, how long has the orchestra been around?
The orchestra started in 1995.
Wow.
The inaugural performance was January 27th in 1996 at the Kingman High School Auditorium.
Wow. That's a nice stage. I've been on it.
It is a nice stage, yeah.
That's an old hemp house. I'm also a theater geek.
Cool.
So, and any idea what was on the program that night? Just because I like asking tough questions.
I do not, actually.
Okay.
I could tell you who the conductor was.
Okay. And
It was Peggy Mambry. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. I didn't know her, obviously. So she left in 2003 when she moved away from the area. And then Art Swanson picked it up in 2003. And now Tom Boone is our conductor. And he's been our conductor now for a year.
So tell me about the program. I am not a musician by any means, but say I was, what do I do? I want to play.
Well, if you wanted to play, then really all you'd have to do is come to one of our rehearsals. We rehearse on Tuesdays at 6:30, and we are no longer at the high school. We are now at, let me get the exact name right on here. We are now at the College Park Community Center at 1990 Jaggerson Avenue here in Kingman. And we rehearse from 6:30 to 8 o'clock every Tuesday evening. Our next performance is April 22nd at 3 p.m. I think that's a Saturday. Should be. And what we do is if you want to play, you just come to one of the rehearsals and talk to the conductor, Tom, and say, hey, I want to play. And if we're always looking for string players, right now we have, right now we have a lot of like band members, brass and that kind of thing. So he might say, well, we have all the trombones, for example, we might need, but if you're a string player, come, please.
Yeah. Hurry.
Yes.
We'll come get you. Yeah. I imagine string players are, difficult to come by. There wasn't even a string program in my middle school or high school. You had your basic band program and you did okay, but how long have you been playing?
Well, I started playing violin when I was 4 years old.
Oh my.
And my family and I lived in Flagstaff at that time. And my whole family played an instrument. And I was the youngest and felt left out. So I said, I want to play an instrument too. And my mom said, well, I happen to have a violin, so let's have you start on violin. So that's how the story goes. And then when I was in high school, my parents and I moved to Lincoln, Nebraska, and there were way too many violins. And so they asked who wants to play viola. And I said, I will, I'll do that. So that's when I switched over to viola. and I love it. I still play both on occasion, but I only play viola in the orchestra.
Okay. Does the orchestra do any recording?
We do not, because the music that we play is under copyright, and we pay. Let's see, how does that work? I don't really understand exactly how it works, but I know that we pay money to play the music and to get the music.
Okay.
And so we are not allowed to record it. We do live performances only. And if people choose to record it or even video it, that's up to them. We have no control over that.
That's I deal again, doing the radio here, do a whole lot with copyright law and what I can and can't play and what I'm licensed to play in. Where you can, my license only includes Great Britain, Canada, and the United States. So I have literally the rest of the world blocked off.
Yeah.
So I played this game, and it cost me a bit, to license what I have. And so I get that. I've done a lot of theater and there are production rights where you can perform but not record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's legal, and you kind of have to pay attention or things get ugly fast.
Yeah, exactly. And we are a nonprofit organization, so I think that helps us a lot. So, yeah.
So let's talk internet presence. Where can you all be found? Because I'm hoping to get some people your way, if nothing else other than to get to performances. But how do we find you on the internet?
So we have a website. It is Mohave Community Orchestra, all one word, .org. So again, that's mohavecommunityorchestra.org. And then we also have our group on Facebook, and that is Mohave Community Orchestra on Facebook.
Okay. So you are building up to a performance, you said, and I forgot the date, and I do believe you did mention it.
It's April 22nd at 3:00.
Okay. And can you give us a clue to what's on the program? Or are we going to be surprised?
We are working on some movie music. So yes, I'll tell you a couple of them, but I'm not going to tell you all of it.
Okay. If somebody wants to know all, then they'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just have to come to the concert or come and play with us. But Phantom of the Opera is one of the pieces that we're working on.
Oh, well.
Yep. As well as Harry Potter.
Well, that's just going to drag him in between those two. I mean, come on.
Right. Exactly. So I love playing movie music. That's like one of my favorite genres. So I'm super excited about it.
I like just about everything except musical theater, and I just can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
And as a lighting guy for many years, I just retired. Not quite 3 years ago. My health is pretty much in the dumpster. But that aside, I just never got a grip on musical theater, and it's what's done. I mean, it's literally what everybody does that. So.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. In fact, I'm going to be playing with the orchestra pit for Fiddler on the Roof for the theater.
That's one of the few that I really like.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And that's one of the benefits of being a viola player is there aren't, a string player actually in all of Mohave County. There are not that many of us. So when somebody needs a pit orchestra, I am on call.
And
so
where is that going to be at?
It's at the Beale Street Theater, downtown Kingman.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think they have 2 weekends that they're going to be playing. I think it's the first and second weekend in April. So yeah, but that's all I know so far. And when we're going to rehearse, that's about it. I don't have the music yet either. So
that's kind of important. Rehearsal is like I said, I played a little bit in high school, but I found the stage and I went my own way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um,
Did you tell me what you played in high school? I can't remember.
I did not. I played baritone horn,
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
which is almost never called for anything outside of a concert band or a marching band. So
Yep. Yep. One of my brothers played baritone horn. So, yeah.
it's fun when you're little, dragging that thing home to practice and then dragging it back to school. And wow, that was a good time.
Yep. Yeah, I remember it was about the same size as my brother.
Uh-huh. They're not small when you're young. Yeah.
No.
So let's go back. You'll have to forgive me. I have a lung condition, and I occasionally just kind of forget, and then it comes right back. So, but can I ask you a question? Me being me, I don't edit this stuff, so this is all going to be in here. How large of an ensemble do you have?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say there's maybe 30 of us, or maybe a few more. I actually never really counted us. I'm staring at a picture of us going, okay, let's see, how many are there?
1, 2, 3.
Exactly. Probably maybe 40. And it sometimes it depends, because there are some concerts where we require more instruments than others. So, yeah.
And that'll happen an awful lot when you go back into percussion.
Yes. And sorry, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, do we need to roll out the timpani? Do we need the bells? Do we need? And
exactly. And we are in the process of building our percussion instrument collection. And so we have, we just got new timpanis, actually. Well, our first ever timpanis. So for a while we were borrowing the ones from the high school, but now that we're no longer at the high school, kind of on our own. So now we're trying to acquire more percussion instruments. And so we have our timpanis, and now we're looking for a bass drum, and I don't remember what else, but yeah.
Priorities right with the timpani, and it's just one of my favorite instruments in the percussion section. They're just
exactly.
Kind of epic. So we've talked about the show. We've talked about some history. We have talked about the group. What would you like to talk
about? What do I want to talk about? Oh, well, let me talk about some of our biggest concerts of the year is the Christmas concert. And
okay.
Yeah, it's very traditional that we get together with the choir. So there is a Mohave community choir. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
And they are not on Facebook. In fact, I don't even know if they have a website. But it's a large choir. They practice at the Lutheran church in town. I can't remember the name of it or what street it's on. But anyway, they do a lot of really cool songs. But anyway, so on the Christmas concerts, we pair with them, and they do some of their own Christmas songs. We do our own Christmas songs, and then we do some songs together. And that is always our biggest concert. In fact, we were standing room only on the Christmas concert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was huge. And it's really a lot of fun. And in our new venue, there is a stage. It's not as big as the high school stage. So the orchestra then plays down on the floor.
Right.
And so we're on the same level with the audience. And then the choir is up on the stage because, they need, so you can hear them better.
Right. Yeah. That gets them out over top. Yep.
Exactly. And this was the first time, at least that I had been there when we played on the floor with the audience. And it was so really cool because you get this, it's an intimate feeling, with the
Yes.
with the audience. And then you have the choir, and it was just a totally different feel. And it was just very lively, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Sounds like it was.
Yeah.
I did.
And yeah.
Hey, it's nonstop Christmas music. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a radio station. I got to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we start practicing Christmas music. Well, actually, not always. I remember when I was in high school and, and younger, playing in the orchestras, you start practicing Christmas music in August. So by the time the Christmas concert comes around, you're sick of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But here we do 4 concerts a year typically. And
Okay.
so there's usually a concert in October, and then there's the Christmas concert, and then there's one in April, and then we'll do one probably May, maybe June. I'm not sure exactly when the last one is.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of time in between the concerts, but we tend to stick to. Well, I think this concert that's coming up in April is unique. At least the 5 years that I've played there, we haven't done much movie music. And so I'm really excited about this concert. But we do a combination of some jazz pieces and some like real popular music that was popular in the 40s and the 50s.
Okay.
And then some classical pieces, not a lot of classical pieces. It's more of your popular music.
Mm-hmm.
The oldies popular music. So
I don't know a lot of people that actually enjoy classical music, and so hey, yeah, Mike, you're weird, you listen to that stuff? Yes, I do, all the time.
Oh, I love classical music. Yeah, well, I was raised on it, so but yeah, I think it's definitely country. Yeah,
I did not like it.
No, that's funny. I've listened to country. I don't know. I'm a huge music fan. I kind of like any of it. And there's some, I've been introduced to some genres that I hadn't really been introduced before, like R&B and rap and stuff like that. And that's definitely different, but I still like it, but the music I choose to listen to, it kind of depends. I go between classical music, and I like classic rock, and there's some heavy metal bands I like, and but definitely classic rock. And I was raised in the 70s and 80s, so some of that music I listen to a lot.
Yeah, I graduated in the later 70s, and yeah, that's what we grew up with. Are you familiar with a genre called symphonic metal?
No, I guess I would say I'm not familiar with it. I've heard of it, but when I think about what it is, what's one of the groups that you would say?
I guess the first one to look at amongst all of them would probably be a group called Nightwish.
Oh, okay.
There's a number of them. There's a large quantity that are like massive, but what you generally have is a female mezzo lead vocalist.
Uh-huh.
The strings are done on keyboards, and then of course you have your guitar, bass, drums, percussion. But it's metal with massive symphonic overtones, kind of like progressive rock was.
Interesting.
But harder. It's way up on my list of what I'm listening to right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I love a good mezzo, and I like good music, and it's not. Apologies to my metalhead friends. It is not simple like most metal.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and no, Justin, your stuff isn't simple. But it's really complex and tones over tones over tones. It's just, as you can tell, I really like it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check out them and branch out. And it's, I don't know of anybody that actually goes with the string section, but, they've got the keyboards and stuff and take care of that. But if you didn't know, and the first time I listened to a lot of it, I'm like, how can they tour with the symphony? so, and yeah, it's and this is what I like to do here. Like I said, you guys are new to me. And once I stumbled on this, I'm kind of like, I got to share this. And that's part of what I'm doing here with the station is, sharing arts and music and all of the wonderful things that make us human with the people out there listening.
That's very cool.
Well, it's, I enjoy doing it. I get to talk to people doing different things. And, I'm going to be interviewing a director here for the community theater. And I would love to find out, I don't know if you can, but if there is a way I could interview would you call them Mohave County Chorale or?
Oh, the chorale. Yeah, the choir.
The choir. I would love to be able to talk to them if you can find out how I can.
Sure. I am happy to do that. I can reach out to, we have at least one of our orchestra members is actually in the choir too. So I will reach out to her about how to contact the choir director.
That's great because fine arts are weak in Mohave County. I mean, they just are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting that, well, I guess kind of Kingman, maybe all of Mohave County, there are a lot of things going on, and there's just like these certain groups that know about it, and to find out everything that's happening in the community is well, especially if you don't subscribe to the newspaper, it's hard to find out everything that's going on. So yeah, it took me a while when I first moved here to find groups, but I did because of the website, the orchestra I found immediately and contacted them and got involved right away. Cause that's one of my things when I moved to somewhere new, I need to find an orchestra to play in.
So what, what brought you to Kingman?
Well, I actually, my husband and I, we moved here from Wyoming, and Arizona is my home state. I was born in Flagstaff, and my parents at the time lived in Lake Havasu, and I wanted to be closer to them. They're still getting up in age and they're still around, but now they've moved. We've helped move them to Prescott, but they had their own home and they just were having some health issues and needed some help. And so we moved to be closer to them. And I started my own business, and so I could work at home remotely and do my own thing. Because I was a teacher at the time. I was teaching college English. So it was just kind of a little change in life a little bit and change of scenery. And we didn't want to live in Havasu because it's too hot. Might only be 10 degrees warmer, but still that was too hot. And, being an hour away from my parents was good.
we do have our feet. And luckily, yes, Lake Havasu City over the course of the year is the hottest city in the country.
Yes, I can believe it.
And us down here in Bullhead, we're number 2.
Yeah. And it's crowded. There's a lot more
Havasu,
people in Havasu, yeah. And for a while, Havasu had an orchestra as well. Well, and I would drive down to Havasu and see my parents and then play in the rehearsals Monday nights. And then they had 2 or 3 concerts a year. But now when my parents moved to Prescott, I didn't, and then I got a full-time job. I had to give up my business and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so it became harder and harder to get to have a Sue to play in the orchestra. So I don't play in that orchestra anymore. Now I just play here in Kingman.
I am so glad I discovered this. I'm glad you were willing to take a few minutes of your day and talk with me. And I would also like to maybe arrange to have an interview with the conductor if that can be brought together. And if
I
not,
will.
I understand.
Yeah.
But
I will do my best. I asked him about it and he just kind of looked at me. He's not much of a talker. But if anything, maybe our former conductor, Art, he still plays in the orchestra. Maybe he can interview you. Maybe he'd be willing. But I will definitely reach out to both of them and get a feel for what they'd like to do and get you in touch with them.
I appreciate that. See, like I said, we got to work to push the fine arts here.
Absolutely.
Because there's little, and what we have is really good, but but nobody knows about it.
Right. Exactly. There is a lot of talent here in Kingman, and it's amazing.
Well, that's the thing, that you are in the arts center of Mohave County.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, if it's happening there.
Yep.
We have a community theater, and we have Voices on the River and a few other things like that. But pretty much the arts are up in Kingman. And I used to travel back and forth doing lighting and stuff for bands up there before I got sick. But it was all happening there. So I want to thank you for your time and your patience with my little memory jog there.
No, not at all. It's my pleasure. And thank you very much for having me on your show, too. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And let me know what else you can find out. And I'm going to go find my oxygen concentrator and get my brain back.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.